I'm not gonna lie, I copied this from the millionaire Alex Hormozy, but it massively increased the amount of work I do in a single day. If you work a lot, but you're not actually working in those hours, by the end of this video you have everything you need to know how to force your brain to be productive for all the hours. The method is basically called being open to go. Let me explain. So I would sit down for 2 hours, let's say, and tell myself that it's time to work hard. It's time to create a YouTube video. And the 2 hours would pass and I would have done some work, like I wouldn't completely procrastinate. But looking back, a lot of the times it was like I could have done more. And I knew I could have done more. But what annoyed me was that I didn't know how to do more. I would tell myself, put in the work today, be focused, but at the end of my work sessions or my work day, it just wasn't what I wanted to be. Okay, I wasn't focused unless I had some immediate urgency, which is rare with what I do. I wasn't focused on my business and I would just waste a lot of time, procrastinate, scroll YouTube instead of working, technically sitting down to work, doing maybe a little bit, but not exactly what I wanted to do. In this way, I was wasting a lot of days, and even though I would set aside a lot of time for work, I wouldn't work in that time. So not only was I wasting my time and not putting in as much work as I wanted to, I wasn't even doing anything good with that time. I wasn't even, resting properly or having any good experiences in life. I was just being unfocused during work, which made me either have to work more or it made me not have to work more, but just not produce enough. So I was wasting my time, I was wasting my days, and I felt absolutely terrible about that. Now I sat down recently and I thought really hard about how to force my work. How could I force my brain to work? Clearly, if I have to tell myself that I'm gonna work hard, I cannot expect that it's actually gonna happen. Like, I'm probably not going to actually do it. So how could I force my brain to actually work hard? How could I just almost like have a gun to my head, almost have somebody looking at me, like have the same result of somebody looking at me and holding me accountable? But obviously that was impossible. I couldn't get anybody to look at me. So I needed to just really think and figure out a way. And I found two ways. Firstly, I found this method which Alex Hormozy, who is a millionaire businessman, very successful guy, he knows how to work, clearly, and he uses this method called open to go. And that's when I found this method. And this method just allowed me to achieve the output that made me succeed. Like, my work days started actually being productive. When I told myself that I'm gonna work for 2 hours, I worked for 2 hours. Like, I put in as much work in those 2 hours as 2 hours allow you to put in. So I was actually focused and I started having these amazing work sessions, which I was proud of. Finally, it was like having an accountability partner. It was like having the pressure to do the work. And this was because of Alex Hormozy's open to go method. So what is this method? Well, it basically means that you set a productivity goal for each work session or for your day. So whatever hours you want to work, you set a goal. And basically, you either have to achieve this output or you're a failure for the day. And not only that, you have to achieve this output or the day doesn't end. So imagine you tell yourself that you're gonna work 10 hours and you tell yourself that you need to achieve something in those 10 hours, something specific. If you don't achieve that, or until you achieve that, you don't get to rest. And that's the open to go method. It's literally setting a output that you have to achieve. But here is the thing, right? Here is the thing. This doesn't work if it's overly ambitious, right? You have to set something realistic. You have to set an output that is realistic. For example, if I told myself that I'm gonna create 2 YouTube videos in one day that actually had high quality, that would be lying to myself, and that's not a realistic output. But I can tell myself I'm gonna create one YouTube video per day, and it can work. I did it for a while. For the past month I did it. So that's a good output. But never tell yourself that you're gonna study for 2 hours without setting a goal. Never tell yourself that you're gonna work for 2 hours without setting a goal. Create content for 2 hours without setting a goal. It just doesn't happen. You end up procrastinating. You have to hold yourself accountable to a specific standard. Okay, you have 2 hours to work. What exactly needs to be achieved in terms of output so you consider these 2 hours productive? What is the realistic amount? And then what you do is you hold yourself accountable to it, or the day does not end. So you hold yourself accountable to do the work, or it doesn't end. If you set 2 hours and you were supposed to create a Instagram reel or something, even if you don't create it in those 2 hours, you keep going because that's the goal you set. So the day doesn't end. And in some days, what's gonna happen is you're gonna put it off, you're gonna be unfocused, you're gonna procrastinate, but then you're gonna get stung. At the end of the day, you have to keep working now because you were lazy, you were slow, you weren't focused enough. And when you get stung once or twice and you rest less in your day and you have to work longer hours because you weren't focused, that's when you start putting in the work on the other days. And there is also a second strategy that you can do. And this is my own personal strategy that I used before the Open to Go that actually really helped me. So these are the two strategies. If you combine them, they'll really help you. The second strategy is basically tracking for each hour what you've done and then rating it on a scale from 0 to 4. So let's say you work for 1 hour, you set up an alarm to ring at the end of the hour, and then you look at the hour and you ask yourself, what did I do in this hour? And then basically you rate it on a scale from 0 to 4. 0, you did nothing. 1, you did 15 minutes worth of work. 2, you did 30 minutes worth of work. 4 or 3, you did 45 minutes, and 4, you did the perfect hour, 60 minutes worth of work. That's how you track your focus over each hour and your productivity. And when you do that, you start seeing if you're actually being productive, and you can make adjustments and you can change everything. So if you do these two things, if you set a specific productivity goal for each day, and then you hold yourself accountable to reach it, and also you track each hour how much you've actually focused, and you try to reach around 90%. So at the end of the day, accumulate the score, all the productivity, all the hours, accumulate the score and try to keep it above 90%. So for me, that's really, I'm working 14 hours right now, which is crazy, but I'm trying to reach 51 out of 56 points, and this is 90% for my focus. So that's how I do it. That's how I started working without wasting my time during the actual work. I hold myself accountable to reach productivity goals, which I have to reach before the day ends, and I hold myself accountable to reach 90% focus in my work sessions. And these two things force you to work. Now, this is a strategy for advanced people. If you struggle with procrastination in doing the work in general, just starting the work, you have to start small. If you want to start small, you can join the free community which is against procrastination, and there you can find free 3-day coaching in which I'll help you overcome a procrastination rut. This is one of the most valuable things, like almost nobody coaches for free. So me coaching you in 3 days how to overcome your rut can really help you and change your life. Or you can just join the community and get some free advice, whatever you want, but click the link in the description if you want to fix your procrastination to change your life. Thank you for watching.